Hello, and welcome to the Healing Half. My name is Miki. I am a grief musician, author, and talk show host, and tonight is my final episode, my final live episode. It's going to keep on as a podcast, and tonight is all about healing for the holidays. As you can see, I've got my llama shirt on. But if you are joining me, whether you are watching live or as a replay, please let me know in the comments section. It would be so great to hear that you are here. Did you know that today is what they call Blue Christmas? It's the longest night of the year. It's either today or tomorrow. And coincidentally, this is when I had my last show planned. And all across the country, churches from all over and organizations of all sorts are getting together to remember that not every part of the holidays is joyful. In fact, it's for a lot of people brings up some really hard memories. And so for those of us who couldn't attend a Blue Christmas, or maybe we don't even celebrate Christmas service ourselves, I wanted to have an episode where we could come together, heal, and talk all about our stuff with one another via journaling and healing in our privacy of our home. And hopefully, if you do celebrate Christmas, that sets you up really nice going into the holiday weekend. So that way you feel like your balloon has deflated just a little bit. By no means is there anything I could ever do that would take away the pain of missing the person you love so much, the person who made holidays so special for you. I can never replace that. No one can ever replace that. However, leaning into those emotions and bringing up their memory and giving that memory and that relationship space actually is going to help you feel more connected to them this holiday season. And dare I say, even more at peace with their loss, and just being able to be in flow with them and being able to bring up their memory and talk about them is so healing within itself. For those of you who don't know, I lost my mom to cancer when I was 13 years old, and I spent the better part of a decade running and pretending I was fine. In fact, around the holiday times is when I would very much keep very, very busy. And so I can relate to a lot of people when they say, you know what, I just don't have time. I don't have time for Blue Christmas. I don't have time for a couple reflection questions. I'm too busy. Trust me, I get it. So the fact that you are watching here tonight, taking a quick half an hour out of your pre-Christmas week with me is not only an honor, one that I have been so grateful for over the whole course of this year and a half of this live show. So thank you, thank you, thank you. But also, I think it's going to help you as well. So if you have not yet, I do have two simple requests for you before we get into our program for the night. The first is let me know that you're here. I'd love to see it in the comments. And the second, I've got a couple errands for you to go run. The first is go grab a pen and paper. We are going to just have two simple prompts tonight that I'm going to be doing for us. And I really think they're going to bring a lot of healing for this service. But then also, please go grab a candle for our candle lighting ceremony that we are going to do. So again, as you guys are going to go get that, I'm just going to introduce myself one more time. A lot of you guys have probably known me, but I'm Miki Spear. My mom died when I was 13. I started this show in May of 2020, right after my grandma died. I was kind of inspired because the world had shut down, and I was like, man, I was just starting to play out as a musician, but that got sidetracked for a little while. And so I began to say, okay, well, if I can't play out for people, maybe I should start a show. And what was on my heart was grief, because obviously, with my grief journey, it took me a really long time to own that it's important to talk about grief and actually go through those hard emotions. It's so much sweeter on the other side of processing. In the meantime, I had created a workbook called My Heart Still Remembers, which you can get. It's a simple fill-in-the-blank workbook. It takes 3-step processes. So if this works for you, from the privacy of your home, you enjoy being able just to set some time aside and heal, I would highly encourage you to check out my grief book called My Heart Still Remembers, which is free shipping to all Amazon Prime members. So check out the comment section if you have not done that yet. But also, I create music. You're going to hear some of those songs live in a second. So follow me on Spotify. Got a lot of fun stuff coming up in 2022. Some of them are grief. Some aren't grief. I talk about a lot of things, so it's exciting. But then the other thing that I created also throughout this process were these grief memory share cards. For those of you who have lost a loved one, and I know I'm speaking in my sense from my mom in this perspective, there is nothing better than hearing a memory of someone else that they have about your person that you didn't know before. I love it when my mom friends you tell me something like Sue, who's on the show listening a lot. She said, "Oh, yeah, like I was your mom's one of her best friends in high school, and we would always listen to AC/DC on the bus to our basketball games." I just always I treasure that memory so much. And I know we all have memories like that of other people who have passed away. And so I just want to encourage you guys, if you have a memory and you know somebody that has, passed away and you know their family, please, I encourage you, I implore you to get them a memory card where it's a nice way of letting them know that you're thinking of them. But then you also can share a memory with them too. And I promise you that is going to be more priceless than any gift you could have ever given them. So please check out those memory cards. Stay in touch, you guys. I'm going to start my program here in just a minute, but I want you to know I don't want this to be the last time that we're talking together. The show's got a lot of fun stuff coming up. We're transitioning to a podcast. So if you're on my email list, you'll not only hear of every new song that I put out, but also the show and the grief books and all the good stuff that I have on the horizon. You'll be the first to know. So now that you've had plenty of time to go grab a candle and a notebook, I say we get into the program. So it's so good to see all of you. Thank you so much for being here. The first thing that we are going to do is we are going to do a prompt for how would you describe them to someone new? And in other words, what is one of your favorite qualities of them? Or if you have a loss that's more of a miscarriage situation or a stillbirth, you can just quickly jot down what dreams did you have for them that they didn't get to experience. So if you were able to, ahead of the show, grab your PDF that has these kind of all lined out. However, a normal pen and a paper will do. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes to do that. And then I'm actually going to transition to one of my songs called My Heart Still Remembers, which is actually available on Spotify. So I'm going to just play for a little bit. Please take a couple minutes. Journal this down. I'm going to share you some of the things that I wrote down before the show that helped me with my processing the loss of my mom. And so I'm going to give you a couple minutes. I'm going to start playing my song. Again, that's My Heart Still Remembers. And I'll start singing the lyrics when we're kind of starting to wrap up. So as you wrap up, I'm just going to play my song real quick. Again, this is My Heart Still Remembers. I released it over the summer, and it's one of my favorite songs, actually, that I've ever wrote. And it's all about how the world moves on, and we kind of don't move on as we shouldn't move on after our heart has been decimated and we miss the person we love so much. They are so part of us still. They're everywhere we look. And yet we live in a world that very much has forgotten, at least it seems, in a lot of ways. So this is a song that I just love to sing to myself and then to other people at various grief groups that I volunteer for. And I just love about it that just reminds us that, you know what, it's okay. It's okay that the world moves on. We can't control other people, but you know what? Their memory lives inside of me and they still flow through me. In fact, all of the good qualities that you guys just wrote down, maybe they were super, super giving, patient, kind. Maybe they were really funny and they just always made people laugh. Whatever their best qualities are that live on through you now, you get that ownership of being able to say, you know what? My person was X, Y, and Z. And in honor of them, the person that I carry with me in my heart every single day, I'm going to choose to let these qualities continue living out. So through their memory, other people are still blessed by them. Isn't that the most beautiful gift you can think about? To know that other people are still actively being blessed because your person impacted you so much that you're going to continue to treat other people so well because of them. This town keeps buzzing, it looks the same. It's been a while since they've said your name. Yes, I know it seems like the world has moved on, but my heart still remembers every little thing. Your eyes, your smile, your laugh, your love, the way it felt when you held me. My heart still remembers. It's where you'll always be. Your spirit pulses through my veins with every new heartbeat. Sometimes the pain goes from flames down to embers, but my heart still remembers. Until we meet, until we meet, until we meet again. I will not, no, I will not forget. Until we meet, until we meet, until we meet again. I will not, no, I will not forget. My heart still remembers every little thing. Your eyes, your smile, your laugh, your love, the way it felt when you held me. My heart still remembers. It's where you'll always be. Your spirit pulses through my veins with every new heartbeat. Sometimes the pain goes from flames down to embers, but my heart still remembers. Yes, my heart still remembers. And once again, you guys, you can absolutely find that song on Spotify if you are interested. And if you know it resonated with you and you know of someone out there who is hurting and isn't able to make it tonight, one of the best things you can do during this season is reach out to them and just say, hey, I was thinking of you. I heard of this song. I thought you might like it. How have you been this holiday season? I know sometimes when we are grieving, it can be so overwhelming and we feel so alone. So sometimes the best way to start that conversation is to ask somebody else that's also grieving how they're doing, and who knows where that conversation will go. We live in a world, and I talk about this all the time on the show, that tells us we have to maintain faith and we have to be strong, and we almost worship people who don't react and don't cry. We praise them for doing so well. But you know what? That's not the kind of world I want to live in. And I don't think that's the world you want to live in either. I want to live in a world where being vulnerable is a gift. I want to live in a world where we can be honest with each other and say, you know what? This sucks and I miss this person and it's not fair. I'm angry, maybe. I'm sad. I'm frustrated. I wish I could go back in time. All of those things are valid emotions and ones we have to process through. And so this holiday season, I urge you, I implore you, like I said earlier, to pause and actually give those questions, give those emotions that you are feeling very much so in your heart airtime. Don't be like me and avoid them for over a decade and just keep pushing them away and say, oh, I'm fine, because they're going to come back to bite you. And not only is it going to cause all these terrible things, if you've ever been in that spot, and I know I've been there a lot, where your cup is so close to overflowing that the smallest thing just shatters it. And all of a sudden the cup is flying everywhere. There's water everywhere. You're sobbing in a grocery store. In order to avoid that, and again, there's nothing wrong with sobbing in a grocery store, but in order to avoid that, we have to release the pressure. We have to let water out of the cup. And the only way through grief is through grief. So don't be like me and avoid feeling those things. Instead, lean into it, set time aside, and I assure you, your holidays are going to be a lot calmer. And not only that, it's not only so that we don't react, right? That's not the only reason we're having this conversation. It's so that we can remember our person better, that we can feel more connected with them and remember them so much sweeter. So this is a shameless plug to just remind you guys, as your holidays are coming up potentially this weekend, please don't forget to ask the host, or if you yourself are the host, if there's anyone that comes to mind that might be worth doing a candle lighting ceremony for. And we're going to get to one in just a second that you can model. But it's worth remembering that it's good to bring up people who've passed, because odds are if you miss them, someone else misses them too. So let's get on to our second prompt, you guys. If you don't mind, just get a new piece of paper. This one's a doozy. I'm going to share with you guys in just a second what I said for mine after this one. But the second prompt, this one that I have found so valuable, but darn it, is it hard? It's grab those tissues. It just might stir something up. We typically find that when we use their name and we actually, through healing, questions, kind of pretend we're talking to them. Oof, it's hard, but it's really, really powerful. So this is one I kind of want to pack a punch for this holiday healing time, and just, again, trying to release some pressure for the balloon, but also feel more connected with them. And here's the prompt for that exact reason. If you could send them a quick Christmas or holiday letter, what would you say to them? And I know you probably have a chapter book of things to say, but if you could, what's a quick little thing that you would say? And I assure you, sometimes just writing those words out are so healing and so therapeutic within itself. So in that same vein, I'm actually going to bring this up full screen, play a little in the background, and then I'll be back to share a little bit about my answers that maybe will help inspire you. And then we're actually going to head right to our candle lighting ceremony. while you guys are wrapping up, I'm actually going to play just a little bit of my song, See Me, which is actually from the perspective of someone who passed. I hope it brings healing, and I hope that you enjoy it. I can see from here your heart is shattered. Just know it's because our love mattered in that empty place. At every table, I'd be there if I could. If I was able. And I know it's not the same, but I know you'll see me again. 'Cause when your tires hit the road, that's where you'll find me. And be sure to listen for me singing in the morning breeze. And you'll know I'm near with the first flowers of spring. No, it won't be long. And when the wind is at your back, that's when you'll feel me. And you'll see me laughing as I dance among the autumn leaves. And you'll hear how much I love you when you can't hear a thing. No, it won't be long until you see me. So that was a portion of my song, See Me, again, available on Spotify if you or anyone you know wants to give it a listen. And why I wanted to share that during our letter time is I think it's when we're in the midst of hurting and we feel so alone and we feel so sad, and it's a juxtaposition, right? Because in some senses, we're so happy. It's a great holiday season. And yet, on another hand, a part of us is missing, and that sucks. And it's so hard. And so one of the things, in addition to this letter, that I would love for you just to kind of resonate on and take with you today is the remembrance. And of course, this is my faith. Everyone's faith is going to be a little different, but I really do believe we are going to see our loved ones again. And as painful as that can be to think of in the moment, something that's hopefully for a long ways away, it is nice to think that we will see them again one day. And this will all go by in a blink of an eye. And I find a lot of joy and I find a lot of peace with that. So they might not be with you this Christmas or this holiday season, but I'm sure that one day you guys will be back together celebrating. But in the meantime, keep an eye out for them. They are all around you. You will see them in the little things. You will see them in the decorations. You will see them in the food that you guys are preparing as you remember what their favorites were. You will see them in the movies you used to watch together. You will see them all over town. And I encourage you, and I'm going to say it a third time, I implore you to actually remember those things as they pop up. I always like to think of them as fingerprints all over town. And it's up to us to really decide, am I going to stop at each fingerprint and actually take in the healing that it offers? Or am I just going to keep driving by? Because I spent 10 years driving by and just being like, nope. But the more I lean in to each and every one of those fingerprints, I promise you healing is going to come. And not only is it going to make the grief less painful, not that we ever get over it, but it's also going to help you feel closer with your loved ones. And it's that beautiful connection you still have with them where you get to say, oh, I remember that. And I still feel them around me. So I hope that these prompts were helpful for you guys. I wanted to share a little bit about my own before we jump into our last little bit here about the candle lighting ceremony. So with prompt 1, where it said, how would you describe them? What were some of your favorite qualities? I know on the show before we've talked a lot about legacy. So I'm going to as beautiful as my mom was. I'm going to go more for like her personality qualities, because when we talk about legacy, it's important to remember it's up to us to carry on those qualities of them, and that keeps that relationship strong. And so some of the qualities that my mom had is she was just so kind to everyone, just a ball of light, a ball of joy. And I'm going to get emotional talking about this, but that's okay because we lead by example, right? So we only allow others what we allow ourselves. So it's important that we give ourselves some grace so that way we can give others more grace. But she was so kind, so generous. She was a good cook. I'm thinking of holidays. I'm thinking she made really good Buckeyes, and she just loved Christmas. Just gifts. And she just was such a good decorator. And that's actually not one of my strengths. If anyone knows me outside of work, I'm not an interior design person. I'm not like the spick and span Pinterest house by any stretch. But I want to continue that. I want to challenge myself to be more like that because of how much it blessed me. I want to be able to bless my husband and my pets and my future kids with that. So that's just one little way I'm going to continue to fine-tune that muscle of what was natural and good and easy for my mom. It's not necessarily natural for me, but because she blessed me with that, I'm going to actively choose to carry on her legacy by doing that for others. And I encourage you, as you look at that list that you have in front of you from prompt 1, to ask yourself, how can I do that in honor of my loved ones this season? Maybe your dad did something that was really special and you haven't really thought about it for a while, but you're like, you know what? I could do that for somebody else. And then for prompt 2, oh boy, if I read this letter, I am truly not going to be able to get through my next song. But I think the biggest thing, in addition to miss you, all that stuff, is how much I wish she could meet Sean. I wish she could meet my husband. She never got to, and my dog and my cats who are now in a better home. But still, it makes me so sad that she never got to. So in my letter, I would definitely have included some of that. So I hope that these were helpful for you. And again, you guys, if this is valuable to you and you're like, I could use more of this, please do not forget, My Heart Still Remembers is this on steroids. And it's what I use to help process all of my losses. And I hope that it helps you wherever you are in your journey. There's never too many times you can lean into those emotions. I hope that it helps you. So please grab your candles. We're going to wrap up our night with a candle lighting ceremony. And this is a tough one. This is one that it could bring up a lot of emotions, but I would love for you just to listen to the words that I'm about to sing over this song. So I hope that you can focus on the candle, focus on the flame. I'm actually going to grab my candle real quick. So please join me in lighting a candle. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Got it. And if you guys are kind of new to all this stuff, some people have, lost someone recently and they're in the throes of grief right now. Other people have lost someone a long time ago, but perhaps, like myself, didn't really lean into it. Don't forget that a candle lighting ceremony during a holiday where you get all these family members together, it's one of the best things that you can do. And a shout out to my mother-in-law, Tammy, who right after her son passed away, immediately jumped into candle lighting ceremonies, and I have fallen in love with them ever since. So if you are on my email list and you sign up either now or if you've been on it, there is a free candle lighting poem and ceremony that you can do for any holiday season. And you can just say, hey guys, it's going to take like 4 minutes. If you don't mind, let's just honor our loved ones in that moment. And that's a really great opportunity to give other people a chance to grieve, because oftentimes if you are closest to the loss, people are looking to you to set the tone because they don't want to force you to do something you don't want to do. So I'd encourage you guys to do a candle lighting ceremony. I'm going to set this down. And if you don't mind, feel free to let your lights off. I have to keep mine on for not really safety reasons. Me and the guitar aren't that crazy in the dark, but rather just for the show, I'm going to keep my light on. But I encourage you to turn your light off. So this is, again, my song called You Can Light a Candle for Me. You know some doors can't be opened, and words can't heal a heart that's broken. Holding me in your arms is what you really need. But in the meantime, you can light a candle for me and let the flame light up the room like my smile used to do. And let the memories begin to fill your mind. Don't be afraid to say my name and begin to share your pain. And remember, I'm right by your side. No, we can't go back to the way it used to be. But in the meantime, you can light a candle for me. When I passed away, your world stopped turning, but the love we share won't stop burning. I know one day we'll meet again, and there will be a missing piece. But in the meantime, you can light a candle for me and let the flame light up the room like my smile used to do. And let the memories begin to fill your mind. Don't be afraid to say my name and begin to share your pain. And remember, I'm right by your side. No, we can't go back to the way it used to be. But in the meantime, you can light a candle for me. No, we can't go back to the way it used to be. But in the meantime, you can light a candle for me. So at your own pace, at your own time, feel free to blow out your candle or not. You are also welcome to just have it out for the remainder of your night. It's one of the many ways you can keep them alive, is just to set an intention. On my show a couple of weeks ago, we talked all about legacy, and one of the things is just being intentional with your actions. You don't have to do this big show about it. If you want to, you sure can, but it could be as simple as, hey, I'm gonna light a candle today. I'm gonna keep it at my work desk, and I know what it represents. I know it's kind of in honor of my mom or whoever you've lost. You can make their favorite meal. If you want to tell somebody and say, yeah, this was my grandma's favorite recipe, or this was my mom's favorite recipe, go for it. If not, you can just keep that to yourself. Either way, I encourage you, I implore you to use all of your senses: smell, taste, sight, sound. Listen to their favorite songs, watch their favorite movies, eat their favorite foods. Do whatever you guys would do together in honor of them this season. And I promise you, you are going to have a wonderful, wonderful healing experience, even if it's hard. In fact, sometimes it feels really good to get a good cry out. So if it leads to that, then that can even be more wonderful in a after the fact way. So you guys, that's all I have for you tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. please, 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 there's a lot of people grieving this season. I've heard of like 7 this past week of just tragic things that have happened right before the holidays. So please share this. Please, please, please keep me in your radar. Please sign up for my email. I've got a podcast launching literally tomorrow. So I'm going to send an email out to my email list with kind of the next chapter of the show. And in fact, tomorrow's episode for the podcast, which is not the live show, but you can listen to it on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. You can find The Healing Half with Miki Spear. You're going to want to be on my email list because I'm going to send you all those links right away tomorrow. And they're going to cover some of the things we talked about last week, which is how can we make a group gathering, be it Christmas, whatever holiday you celebrate, or July 4th, a birthday, Easter. How can we make a gathering more griever friendly? And I think it's a quick 10-minute episode that's going to have some information-packed stuff, and it's going to be a little preview of what you can expect later in 2022. But before I officially sign off, I just want to say thank you so much. It feels weird that I'm about to hit that stop button for the last time, maybe ever, and I cannot begin to express how grateful I am for each and every one of you. I have done a lot since the show. I mean, we've had over 80 episodes, over 8,000 views, which is unbelievable. Lots of shares. That song that you just listened to, Light a Candle for Me, I'll make sure that's in my follow-up email because I had a music video for it that got shared over 4,000 times last year. It led to me being on a local news show, which was unbelievable. God has been so good. And I know I have been blessed by the show and my over 55 guests that I have had on the show sharing their experiences. Some came on multiple times. So that's 55 individual unique guests with unique stories that have taught me and hopefully some of you in the audience who have listened so many wonderful, valuable lessons about how we can heal our own wounds. Some of it grief related, but also other things. You know, we're talking depression, we're talking body acceptance, all that good stuff. But I also hope that between me and those 55 guests, we also learned how to be better community members. Maybe we've learned what to say a little bit better. Maybe we feel more confident approaching someone going through something that we can't quite relate to because we heard an interview of somebody who was in their same situation. My hope and my prayer is that we continue to shape the world to be more healing-centric, where we can be more honest and vulnerable and really lean into those hard emotions together as a community. So for perhaps the last time, I'm going to say thank you so much for being here. It has been an absolute honor, an absolute joy. Please pray for me. I have no idea necessarily what this next chapter holds, but I've got lots of ideas, and I'm definitely going to miss these live shows. It's extremely bittersweet, but I hope you have, wherever you are at on your grief journey, a fantastic holiday season. If you've got Christmas coming up, Merry Christmas. And I will see you via my weekly resource email that's going to be coming out soon. So please head to mikispear.com. Stay in touch, you guys. Much love, much gratitude. So good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Over and out. Bye.